Hey everybody, what's that song? It's been a while. Was that like Stained or something like that? I don't know. Now I'm just dating myself. Hey guys, it's been a while since I've seen you. I kind of took a little break from doing videos for a little bit. I thought maybe I was getting a little obsessive about it. And you were probably getting sick of looking at me every week, or every other week. Boy, I'm just looking behind me. It's like chaos. It's a mess. A mess is always like, hey, that means there's stuff happening. So what's been going on? Well, I hope you all had a great holiday season. I know that there was quite a bit going on. The store actually did okay. I was very surprised. We just had a lot of support. People wanted to see us get through to 2021. After 4 record store days in a row and a Christmas season, I just wanted to take a nap and hibernate for the month of January, but that didn't really happen. We had a pretty busy couple first weeks, and then we sort of hit well, I don't know, I guess people were sort of in was the election rigged or not mode, and then we're sort of now in post inauguration time. There's been a lot of change, a lot of things going on in people's lives, and even when there wasn't stuff going on in people's lives, people were paying attention to a lot of those kinds of things. So I totally understand. Life gets in the way sometimes, and there's been a lot of music coming out. It's odd. I would say January this month has been sort of light on new releases, but heavy on reissues. And I think that's going to be a theme that we're going to be seeing for the next couple months, at least until more people get vaccinated and bands can get back out on the road. And I mean, it may take longer than that. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you some of the new stuff that we have. Some of it you've probably seen if you were like following our Facebook posts and you saw like pictures of things. I don't really have a lot of news to tell you. I mean, we also kind of went through a situation where we got a new computer. That's good. There's been some bumps along the way, as there always are with new systems. So if you haven't heard from me much, that's also sort of what's been going on. Yeah, that was not fun, but but we're dealing with it. It's actually going to be much better, I think, in the long run. This way, if we have a fire or a flood or lightning strikes, at least there's a backup of things. So, hey, welcome to the millennium, Wi-Fi, crazy. Anyway, so let me go through some of the new stuff, and some of these things I know you've probably seen. Anyway, we got a new Jeff Tweedy. Jeff, this album, Love is the King, came out streaming in like November, and he finally issued it on vinyl. It's on clear vinyl. I haven't actually gotten to listen to it yet because it just came out last week. People tell me it's some of Jeff's best solo work. And I know he recorded a lot of that with his family. Seems like there's a lot of pandemic-y sort of like lockdown records here. Kurt Vile, it's a new Kurt's Philly's own, a new EP. There's a song called How Lucky with John Prine on it. If you're sort of interested, Kurt, he used to be in War on Drugs and then took his own path, and both of those artists are great. He's got kind of a drawl, like lackadaisical sort of delivery. Anyway, him with John Prine. This looks really interesting. It's the new Tyler Childers Long Violent History. Tyler's I guess alt country Americana artist. He's done stuff with Sturgill Simpson. This one was produced with him and Jesse Wells. But it also is getting pretty good reviews. If you're into Americana, this is a great record. Shame's new album, Drunk Tank Pink. Kind of I call it post punk because we've already had post punk, so this is like really sort of angsty in your face sort of punk stuff, but it's good. I like their last album a lot, and we have the limited edition opaque pink vinyl version right now. I should say that like the Tweety was also clear vinyl. That seems to be a big thing now too. Is we watched I saw a lot of kids coming in this Christmas. That was kind of the main sort of change, other than the fact that everyone was in a mask. But there was a lot of young people. Were a lot of young people getting involved in like wanting to start a record collection, more than I think I've seen in other years. Even with the growth that we've kind of seen in the vinyl community, and it's probably everyone's so bored. They're all at home and they want something to do, and it's a tactile experience to play music. And so anyway, that was very refreshing. And it wasn't all like Taylor Swift. I mean, I love some Taylor Swift stuff is great, but I think it was, it was kind of a mixed bag. You got a lot of kids that are into the music that their parents listen to just because, the musicianship was so good on some of those records. So, there's a lot of Led Zeppelin going out the door, and sometimes I'll see like Miles Davis, things like, you'd be like, kids are into that? I love how diverse they are, and how many interests they have. Here's the new Matthew Sweet, Cat's Paw. Matthew actually recorded most of this with him playing most of the instruments, so that's a little bit of a shift. Instead of having a band element, he sort of wanted to do lead guitars on his own. Here's the new William Basinski. It's called Lamentations. I don't know if you're familiar with William's material or not, but you might want to check him out. He's, I don't know, singer-songwriter-ish, I guess, a little bit. Rye? Home? Rye changed a lot from where they started out. This album sounds a little poppier to me from what I heard so far. It's a purple vinyl, indie, exclusive, interesting, kind of quiet, high male soul vocals, usually sort of a soul kind of backdrop with a lot of synth. Anyway, all right, so moving right along, you're like, why are you describing this thing? New Guided by Voices album. This actually came out on CD a couple months ago. Finally released on vinyl. Styles we paid for. If you know about Guided by Voices, they release like, I don't know, 4 or 5 albums a year, it seems like. So he's probably got 100 albums at least now. And the new McCartney, which this actually came out, this was McCartney 3. It came out the week before Christmas. It's an interesting record. It's one of those like lockdown records where he made it at home, sort of with him playing everything. And most of it's successful. There's some things that don't always work, but I think people were sort of like, what will Paul do if he's by himself? Well, I mean, he's Paul. He's almost 80, but I mean, it's a mixed bag. But I think it's people. I'm selling it short. Don't write me any email, Paul McCartney lovers. I think it's basically a good record. I liked Egypt Station, the previous one, better. Some people don't like Pop Paul, so maybe they like this one. Anyway, that's a personal preference. New Laura Jane Grace. This record was also one that came out sort of in the pandemic, or was made in the pandemic. It was supposed to be a new Against Me record, and it ended up being solo. New John Fogerty, Fogerty's Factory. This is sort of a take on Cosmo's Factory, but if you see, it's all family members there, and he kind of recorded this at home with his kids, doing Creedence songs. Imagine that. Good project. This is something I showed before Christmas also, Sturgill Simpson's Cutting Grass, Volume 1. This was kind of a fiasco for indie stores because we were supposed to get, I don't know, I ordered like 20, 30 copies of a green, or of a orange, it was orange, sorry, yellow and green vinyl We ended up getting like two, and this is on Sturgill's new label, which he's doing himself. He was sort of upset that he thought his last record wasn't handled very well, so he's like, "I'll start my own label. I can do it better." And the first thing he does sort of like angers the fans because they can't get the version of the record that they want, because he didn't make enough. So he's already got volume 2 done. It's already streaming. The vinyl for that comes out in April. He says, "Oh, I'm making more of that one on a colored vinyl." So, but then that doesn't help the fans that wanted the first one, colored 2, to match. So you just kind of are going to have to pay an arm and a leg if you want that. Look for it on the internet. I don't know what to tell you. We have the black vinyl version, but if you like bluegrass, though, it's fantastic. New Drive-By Truckers record. This came out right before Christmas, too. It's called The New OK. It was another one, red vinyl. It was sort of made up of some tracks that they were working on from their last record and some new stuff that they kind of came up with in the pandemic. All right. Now I'm moving on to reissues. So let me start by saying that one of my favorite British bands of the last 20-25 years is a trio called Doves. They had sort of made 4 albums, broke up for the last 10 years, got back together this year, released an album called The Universal Want, which is really great. I showed it back in September when it came out. Oddly enough, it never came out on CD. It's only on vinyl, which is weird because all their old stuff was only pretty much on CD. I think there were, if you were in England, you could find a record. But anyway, then they can't tour the record. So they've been doing reissues. So here are some of their early fantastic records. Lost Souls came out. We've got Last Broadcast, which is my personal favorite. Has the great song Pounding and Caught by the River. Love both of those. And Dove, Some Cities. All great. And I think the fourth one, Kingdom of Rust, didn't come out yet. But another band that I love from that era that, oddly enough, I saw live 20 years ago, almost 18 years ago. Saw a show with Doves as a headliner, and this other great band from England was the opener, and that was Elbow. And Elbow have also been reissuing a couple records. So here's Asleep at the Back. That's their first. The second one, which was my personal favorite. Some people don't like it as much, but I love Cast of Thousands. Fantastic album. And third one, Leaders of the Free World. How topical right now. I would say that, vocally Guy Garvey sounds a little bit like a gruffer Peter Gabriel, sort of. Doves are a little more like on the soul. Like if Oasis didn't have as much of an attitude and were more soulful, probably, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, both great bands. I think there's another Elbow out, Takeoff and Landing of Everything, that we are out of right now. But anyway, so moving along, Sanctuary have a couple of releases out on their label. This has been out many times, but it's a new reissue of Iron Maiden's first album, self-titled. And then also, this is kind of cool, the Kinks. This is on red vinyl. Kinks self-titled. This album actually has 2 pretty big hits on it. Yeah, you really got me, and Stop Your Sobbing, which ended up being covered by Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders later on. It's also a mono edition, so that may be of interest. Then moving on to Rhino has a whole campaign that they've done this year of Start Your Ear Off Right records, and so there's a whole bunch of these. I'm just going to show them really quick. There's Talk Talk, It's My Life, which has this title track that you might remember, No Doubt covering. It's on purple vinyl. Buffalo Springfield, it's Best Of, featuring like I mean, this has been out for forever, but this version, this is the first time they've reissued it in decades, and it's on 180 gram vinyl, remastered by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grunman Mastering. So that may be of note. A couple great, they did back in October, a bunch of Talking Heads records. So now we've got Speaking in Tongues, which is one of my favorites. Burning Down the House is on this, and Girlfriend is Better. That's on blue vinyl, and then on red vinyl, there is the live record. The name of this band is Talking Heads, and it's on, red vinyl, 17 live tracks from 1977 to 81. Everybody's like, well, they just put out Stop Making Sense already. I wish they would put that out next. All right, so you got Curtis Mayfield's Superfly soundtrack. This is also on red vinyl. Worth checking out. Billy Joe and Nora Jones. This has been out before, but their Everly Brothers tribute for Everly, back on vinyl, this time on orange ice cream colored vinyl. You've got a couple of Genesis titles that came out. Trick of the Tail. This is on yellow vinyl, which is pretty cool. You've got Duke, which is on white vinyl, also pretty cool. A couple of Danny Elfman soundtracks. Boy, Rhino's really going for it. Dick Tracy. You don't see this very often. It's on transparent blue vinyl, first time since 1990. 30 years. It's about the same for this, I think. This is on turquoise vinyl. The Batman soundtrack. We're talking the movie with Michael Keaton, all right, the first one. Great soundtrack. Iconic in a way as far as Elfman soundtracks go. Katie Lang's Invincible Summer. One of her most underrated and a pop record that she did in the 90s. It's pressed on yellow orange vinyl. The single was The Consequences of Falling, which I don't know if people really remember that. I do. The Cars, Shake It Up. This is on neon green vinyl. I saw this spinning on someone's record turntable in a picture somewhere, and man, was it neon green. All right, just a couple more things here. So Dire Straits before Christmas did box set reissue that had all their records in it. And now they've reissued them separately. So you can get on 180 gram remasters. Communique? I don't know if they're remastered. 180 gram vinyl anyway. Communique. I'm sure they sound great. Self-titled. Making movies. Love Over Gold, which seems to be some people's favorite. What would it be without Brothers in Arms? I mean, Money for Nothing, So Far Away, Walk of Life, spread over 2 records. This is a big deal. We usually, when we get this, it's some kind of an import. So this is like, I'm not exactly sure where it's made, but this is Rhino's edition. And then also, a lot of people look for this record, and it's almost was very difficult to find. On Every Street was the last Dire Straits album. Heavy Fuel, The Bug, and Calling Elvis were probably the most known songs from that album. All right, last couple things. Got, might have shown this, I don't remember. Bird and the Bee reissued their first record. It's on translucent blue vinyl. I can't tell you the name of the most iconic song from it because it's got expletives, but it's effing Boyfriend. It was the song that Dave Grohl heard that said, he said, I want to work with Greg. I can't remember Greg's last name, isn't that terrible? I want to work with him, so he's produced some Foo Fighters stuff. I think he worked with Adele too, so... but that's a really interesting kind of... Oh, and the lead singer of that, Inara George, she's Lowell George's daughter, Lowell from Little Feat. And then the last thing I'm going to show is A David Bowie reissue. This is an brick and mortar store only, so like you'll only find it supposedly in a store with four walls at least. This is the 45th anniversary color vinyl limited edition. It's either red or white vinyl. I think they might be at random or something like that. But anyway, it's the Station to Station album, which features those songs. I don't know if you can read those. It looks backwards to me. But Station to Station, Golden Years, TVC 15, Word on a Wing, Stay and Wild, Wild as the Wind, his incredible version of that. Looking ahead, there's really not a lot of stuff to talk about. Valentine's Day is sort of like, welcome to socially distanced Valentine's Day, coming up in February. But a couple of record releases that you should be aware of if you're interested in this stuff. Fleet Foxes put out an incredible album back in October. I say put out, really what I mean is they threw it up for streaming, but it's not, to me, it's not ever really out until I can hold it in my hand, as I've just shown you. So that record, Shore, comes out February 5th, finally, and it's pretty much, I don't know, I think Robin Pecknold is amazing, and he's up there with like Sufjan Stevens as far as like the sound that these guys are hearing in their heads and what they can put down on a recording. Incredible. Also that day you get the new Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight, February 5th. That is, it's been sort of interesting, the tracks that have come out so far. They're very atypical. It's odd to hear Dave Grohl experimenting in this way. Maybe he was getting bored. I'm not so sure that everything has been real super successful, but we'll see where that goes. So could be interesting. And then really sort of like moving on to February, and also that day, I'm sorry, I should mention Sharon Jones. They'll be releasing the album that came out for Record Store Day, Black Friday. For those of you that missed it and might want it, it's her covers album. She does some great versions of like Janet Jackson's "What Have You Done For Me Lately" and stuff like that. So and old soul tunes as well. And then February 12th, the big news today or in the last couple days, and they just rushed it out for streaming, was Weezer's "OK Human." Apparently that's coming out now before Van Weezer, so OK Human will be out on February 12th on vinyl only. It will not be on CD, and there will be some kind of like color version or something like that. That's what we're going to have. Also, February 12th, don't quote me on that because sometimes they change the dates. The Black Sabbath box set for Volume 4 with all sorts of expanded stuff on vinyl and CD, I believe. The band Stage Fright and Rammstein's Herzeleid will be reissued that day too. That's just sort of touching on sort of things. There's been a lot more. I'm looking and I'm just like, oh, I forgot to grab Viagra Boys. There's been other new releases as well. So if you go to our Facebook page, you can click Shop Now, and a lot of those things will be there, but some might not be. So feel free to like send an email and say like, hey, do you have? Because sometimes things get in and go out the door before we can even manage to get them on the internet. So, which is great because we're here to serve like local businesses as well, or be a local generator for business and serve you guys. Although I love the fact that I get to reach out to some people that that's been something that's been amazing with this whole experience, is making connections with people all over the country that otherwise we would not have really had that sort of relationship with. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Thank you so much. This video has been long enough. I hope you guys have a great another week or two. You might see me probably around early February, so stay well, get vaccinated if you can. I don't know, I sound like I'm preaching it. but it's not going to work unless most of us do it, unfortunately. So, I keep saying, like, if I had the choice between getting the vaccine and possibly having a side effect or getting a possibly fatal disease, which one would I choose? I mean, that sort of makes it pretty, like, clear, doesn't it? I don't know. Everyone's got their own opinion. All right. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Bye.